This could be the biggest news in NFT world. The license for the OG collection that kicked off the 2021 bull market has been confirmed by Yuga Labs, and the industry is abuzz with the news. CryptoPunks, the OG, now has full commercial rights for its holders the first time since their release. What does this mean for the industry? What does this mean for the punks? And what does this mean for the broader NFT market? We're going to go into all of this and more with my fellow co-host, Stanley the Goat. Welcome to Goats and the Metaverse. Stanley, punks are celebrating. You don't look that happy about it. Tell us, are punks gonna flip apes?
That is the question of the week. Might be the question of the year. I don't know yet. I want to learn a little bit more about these commercial rights, but I want to hear from you, our audience. Pause the show in the comments. Let me know. Are punks flipping apes? Yes or no? Let's hear from you guys. We'll make sure to feature some of these comments on the next show. Let's get right into it, Yasi. This is a big deal. We kind of knew it was coming, so it's not like a huge surprise. Even though I think I saw a tweet, don't recall who it's from. The bigger surprise would have been if they said it's going CC0, right? And that would have probably put an end to everything. Not a surprise, but definitely controversy. Definitely, I don't want to say controversy. Definitely debate of it. Is this the right thing to do? Is this not the right thing to do? And for those of you that are new to the space that happen to be watching the show, why is this significant? CryptoPunks was the first NFT project ever created. This is the OG. This is what kind of started it all. It was given away for free to people who just happened to have wallet addresses and airdropped to them and sent to them. And then it started trading at $19, $20, $30. And February, or actually, what is it, March or April of last year is when craziness really started to hit. And we started seeing sales of 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, and MasterCard.
All the way up to 450,000.
MasterCard started that trend off. And then they kind of came back to earth, and they, not too long ago, were back down to $40,000. They're sitting just shy of 70 Ethereum right now, which is about $130,000 plus change. Not a small amount of money, but a fraction of where they were at 450. Now, let's get into it. Let's get into the why this is a big announcement and what it actually means, and what does it mean? What does it mean to give the ownership, the commercial rights to the holders? Yasi, walk us through it, my friend.
Well, we've seen this playbook from Yuga, so it's not a surprise that Yuga would come back with a similar license to what they did with the Bored Apes, which rose them into fame and actually got them to flip the punks, which was something that people never thought was possible. So what does it mean?
You're one of those people.
I didn't think it was possible.
I didn't think it was possible at one point.
Thankfully, I hedged my bets and had some apes in the process, so I'm not too sad about it. But what happened is that there was never the license for holders. Originally, Lava Labs came out with the CryptoPunks, and they held the license for it. There was no commercial rights. You couldn't do anything with your punk, but it was art. You could see it as a historical moment in the Ethereum blockchain's history, the first generative PFP collection that basically kicked off generative PFP collections afterwards. All the 10K PFPs and character sets that you see were inspired by the CryptoPunks. So they have that cult-like status. So what does it mean today? Well, it means that if you own a punk, if you are a holder of a punk, you are able to use that punk and create any kind of commercial works with that punk. You're also able to create derivative CryptoPunk works. You're able to take your punk and create derivatives with it. What would it be a derivative? Well, you could turn it into a character in a game. You could turn it into a 3D avatar. You could make it into toys and merchandising. That is what you can do as a derivative with your punk. There is some caveats to that. You have to do it with totality of your punk. You can't take the headband of your punk if it has a headband, or the goggles of the punk if it has goggles, and use that as its derivative work. It has to be the full set of your crypto punk. And then you're able to do whatever you want with that to be both commercial and non-commercial uses with that punk. Now that is big, because it now means there are 10,000 entrepreneurs, founders, franchise owners in the market who are now thinking, well, what can I do with this punk? I'm holding it as art. I'm holding it for its historical value, but maybe there's more. Maybe there's something that I can do with it. Maybe I can create a game. Maybe I can create a series of movies. Maybe I'm going to create some merchandise. Or like we saw with Bored Apes, we're going to create Bored and Hungry, a franchise restaurant group using the characters from my punk. These are all the possibilities that happen now that the license has been opened up and allows people to use those works and derivative works for full commercial rights. The market hasn't really responded much. Like you say, Stanley, the floor price hasn't really moved. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I think everyone is waiting for the merge and everyone's stacking ETH. And I guess, like I said, this was kind of expected. I want to take it one step further because, you know, using G Money as an example, friend to the show, he is known for his CryptoPunk ape. And there was some controversy when he started using it for the Adidas deal, and he technically didn't have the rights to use it, right? And now you have somebody that has a huge, huge following, who's one of the bigger players in the space. He could go and really build that brand off. Like, it's literally his identity, right? And he could take it, you know, to Hollywood if he so chooses, because it is probably one of the more famous CryptoPunks out there. And a lot of people know him and know his avatar and know him as his avatar. And now he could go and, you know, really whatever he wants to do with it, right? Like, he has that ability to do so. And I think that's interesting of people who could really start to kind of grow their brand using the IP. Now, there's definitely, you know, debate. Here we go. Let's fucking go. History, rocket ships. And now let's see the other side of it. And these are comments on Noah's tweet, which he announced. Why can't anything be art anymore? This was the singular crypto art collection and has been bundled into the great corporate overlord of Yuga's portfolio branch, just ready for any manner of cheap monetization, because that's what this space values, money. Listen, I mean, you could make that argument, right? But like, let's take a step back. Yuga acquired CryptoPunks from Larva, right? And the reason they did that was because Larva didn't really want to operate, right? They kind of wanted to just sit there and create art, and they didn't want to go build. And obviously, there was a lot of backlash from the community. Obviously, Yuga jumped in and said, hey, we could take this brand and really go and create some history here and take it to the levels that you guys didn't want to do it. Not that you couldn't do it. So, like I said, this moment was coming, and it's here. And let's see what the people are going to build.
Well, there is a fair point in this idea of historic value and art. When we go into the utility race game, then it becomes about higher and higher expectations. And I suppose that's where that comment is coming from. This could be appreciated as just art. There is some comments in the agreement about utility. Yuga saying owners may be offered utility benefits of entitlement from time to time, but these terms do not confer any utility except as granted by the license. Basically saying that we may do stuff with this over time. We may be able to offer you access and the things that you get from Bored Ape Yacht Club by being a member and holding onto an ape, but we're not saying we will do that. It could happen, but it not necessarily will happen. So don't get your hopes up, but it might come. Basically saying not much about utility in the world of the punks. I'm not sure if utility for punks is a good or a bad thing. I think it holding on to just the expectation that this has a historical moment and this is art is of high degree of value. As soon
I
as you
agree.
start putting utility to it, you start attaching a value to that utility. So I'm actually not a fan of utility being brought into the world of punks. If the crowd, if the members of the punks, holders of the punks, want to bring utility to the community, I think that's a different story. That's something that I'd encourage and be a big fan of, that the punk community built that utility.
And they also put in there that they have the rights to change the IP down the line, which I think is interesting, right? Which I think is like, we talk about it, that we're in the first inning of this thing, the first quarter of this thing. Nobody really knows where this is going, right? Moonbirds dropped one on us and changed it to CC0. Maybe they're going to change it and say, you know what, we want that back. And there's going to be even more controversy. I don't think they're going to. I think they just put that in there for safety because we're not sure what the space is going. And I think you brought up another good point where they also put in there that once the merge happens, it's going to go on to the new chain, or we're assuming it's going to go on to the new chain. And the punks that are going to be on the old chain are not going to be authentic. They're not going to be accepted. This is something that I think a lot of NFT projects and creators need to go update their fine print on, because this is going to be a topic of conversation that is going to come up a lot once the merge actually happens. Listen,
yeah, it's the first time I've seen that in an agreement, and I imagine we'll start seeing that more coming as the merge, as you say, approaches and we see more forks of these chains. Other people that were excited about the news, Andrew Wang changed his profile picture and acquired a punk straight after the news landed. First time he's gone into the punk universe, acquired punk 7987, and did a throwback to a picture of himself circa 2019, where, you know, call it the simulation, but pretty much looks like his punk 3 years back. And that's why he bought this coveted punk today. So some enthusiasm from the broader community. And I was sending out some messages in our local Discord group and saying, looks like punks are cool again. They're back in vogue. And we're seeing that in the price action that it's been following over the past few weeks. Hope you enjoyed that show.
We hope you did. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Punks or apes? Apes or punks? We want to hear from you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you back here mañana. Have a good one, everybody.